Hello there and welcome along to Sportsday. I'm Gavin Ramjohn. A setback for England's women in the Ashes. Defeats in the opener against Australia.
Australia complete a magnificent victory.
We'll be at Trent Bridge in a bit, but a privilege and a pleasure. İlkay Gündoğan says farewell to treble winners Manchester City after signing for Barcelona. Plus, Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney dip their toes into another sport. We'll tell you what they're planning next. Hello there and welcome along to Sports Day this lunchtime. It was all set up for a potential nerve-jangling final day of the Women's Ashes test at Trent Bridge. England were attempting the highest chase in women's test history, but ultimately they were undone by some terrific Australian bowling before lunch. The Australians then, as in the men's series, with the upper hand. So let's speak to our reporter Joe Curry now, who is there for us. Joe, so disappointment then for England today. Where did it all go wrong?
Well, England did so well yesterday to get Australia out in that second innings, didn't they? But losing 5 wickets before the close of play left them so much to do this morning. Night watcher Kate Cross was out early, and then in came Amy Jones to partner Danny Wyatt. Now, this was the partnership that England fans were really resting their hopes on, but Jones was out pretty soon afterwards, going for 6, stumped just by millimetres. And then really after that, England's tail end collapsed. England losing in the end by 89 runs. It's a big blow in terms of the series. There are plenty of positives to take in terms of the batting performance and Tammy Beaumont getting that 200 on Saturday and those 2 fifers from Sophie Ecclestone. But in the end, Australia proving once again why they are the best team in the world.
And Joe, a fair way to go then in this multi-format series. But how hard a job will it be now for England to claw themselves back into contention?
Absolutely, this series is not done and dusted. We've now got 6 white ball games. This one test match was worth 4 points. These following 6 games are worth 2 points each. So for England to win the series, they now need to win 5 of those 6 games. It's a big ask. Australia, as I said, are the best team in the world. England haven't won the Ashes since 2014. It's a big ask, but it's not impossible. They'll take a couple of days from this to rest. They don't play much test match cricket, let alone 5-day test match, but they'll take some time to get over this, to recoup, to go again, potentially mix that starting team up again, and then they go again at Edgbaston in the first T20 on Saturday.
Joe Curry, thank you very much indeed. Joe Curry there for us at Trent Bridge. Now, Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, the American actors who bought Wrexham Football Club 4 years ago, are branching out. They're taking a stake in Formula One's Alpine, whose parent company Renault confirmed the sale of a 24% stake earlier to a group that the Hollywood pair are involved with. Jane Dougal is here in the studio to tell us more. So, Jane, diversification, as they like to call it in the business world, what can this investment actually mean?
Well, the 2 actors are only a small part of this investor group, which has paid $200 million or £171 million for this 24% stake. The other investors are Otro Capital and Redbird Capital Partners. Now, Redbird are a US investment firm who bought AC Milan last year for €1.2 billion. And they also have a huge controlling stake in French Ligue 1 side Toulouse. So they're not short of a bob or two. And significantly, they're an investor in Fenway Sports Group. Is that ringing a bell? Mm-hmm. It should do, because they own Premier League side Liverpool and also the Boston Red Sox baseball team. So while Reynolds and McElhenney will inevitably be the faces of this investment, the significant name here is Redbird. And
we're seeing them now, you know, at Wrexham. And 4 years ago, it was such a famous story and a big story. And they've just taken them into the English Football League, haven't they, the Welsh side? So is it hope that there's similar success on the cards for Alpine, who are a bit lower down the constructors' sort of pecking order, if you like?
Well, obviously, this investment is expected to boost the Formula One team's media profile and the publicity surrounding, as we can see, the whole way through Wrexham has been huge because of Reynolds and McElhenney taking them over. And if you look at how quickly they achieved success at that team, well, they took over in 2021 and the Welsh club were promoted back to the Football League in April earlier this year, so it didn't take them long, did it? Formula One, of course, is a very different animal, a very different sport. And just thinking of some of the big names that you mentioned mentioned there, Gavin, you know, Alpine finished fourth behind Red Bull, Ferrari and Mercedes in last year's Constructors' Championship. So if we're looking at financial capabilities, well, this deal values Alpine Racing at around £706 million. Ferrari is worth just over £1 billion. Yeah. So there's your contrast and there's your difficulty as well. Now, this season, Alpine have dropped. They're currently fifth. But Renault, their parent company, have made it very clear that they intend to return to the summit of the sport. And that is what it is hoped this deal will do.
Let's see if that happens. Jane Dougal, thank you very much indeed. Much appreciated. So to football then, and Manchester City have confirmed their treble-winning captain Ilkay Gundogan has left to join Barcelona on a free transfer. The Germany midfielder's contract expires at the end of the month. He scored 6 goals in his final 7 games, including a double in the FA Cup final win over Manchester United. Gundogan said he experienced hundreds of unforgettable moments with City and that captaining the side to the treble was the greatest experience of his career. Now, in October last year, the day before his 27th birthday, para-athlete George Peasgood was out for a bike ride with his girlfriend when a freak accident saw his foot slip out of the pedal and hurled him over the handlebars at speed. Rushed to hospital, he was diagnosed with a brain injury and entered into the deepest level of coma. 6 months on, he's now working at a rehabilitation centre in Leicestershire, which is part of the Matt Hampson Foundation, and moving towards his goal of getting his life back. Our reporter Matt Graveling has been to meet him.
Australia, 2018.
Yes, George!
Another podium for Great Britain's George Peasgood. This success came 20 years after a lawnmower accident left George needing 15 surgeries to his leg. As he grew, George continued to swim, cycle and run. In 2011 he was picked up by British Triathlon and George already had a clear goal in mind.
Get to Rio and hopefully doing a couple of other games after that. I really want to make this as the best part of my life and make it as long as possible, really.
Rio became reality and was followed by 2 medals in Tokyo. Up next, the Paralympics in Paris. George was flying, but then on the 1st of October, the day before his 27th birthday, a bike crash changed everything. Rushed to hospital with a serious brain injury, doctors said George was in the deepest level of coma. His family were told to expect the worst. But then, 6 weeks later, George woke up.
It felt like I'd woken up from a dream. So literally everything from October, November, December, up until 30th of January felt like a dream.
After 6 months, George left hospital, and now here in Leicestershire, 85 miles away and 9 months on from the crash which almost claimed his life, George continues to beat the odds.
Every day is a positive, like literally every day is a step forward from there. I've got 3 hours of intense rehab. Each week I also have a counselling session, which is like that's more the mental side of things. Every day is just massive rehab focus.
Good, keep driving, keep driving, keep driving. Good work, work, work, work, work. Good, ease off. Really? George is fantastic. His ability to just get on with it and crack on and work hard and make the best of a pretty poor situation has been inspiring. To have gone from being told that it's unlikely he's probably ever going to walk again, let alone run, to then doing the things that I've seen him doing the past few weeks he's been here has been incredible.
While any talk of competing is on the back burner for now, George says that overcoming adversity at a young age was what saved his life this time around.
It's like being stubborn. Like I've learned to be so stubborn and never take no for an answer. And I just want my life back, the way it was before my accident. That's all I want to do, is try and get my life back.
You going to get there?
Yeah, definitely.
Matt Graveling, BBC News.
And just before we go, some breaking news to bring you now. Former Scotland manager Craig Brown has died at the age of 82. Brown was the national team's longest-serving manager. He was in charge for 71 games from 1993 to 2001, qualifying for Euro 96 and the 1998 World Cup. He ended his career at Aberdeen. In a statement today, they said everyone at Aberdeen is heartbroken by the loss of our beloved manager, director and club ambassador. Craig will be sorely missed. So we'll have more on that story throughout the day here on BBC Sport. But thank you very much indeed for watching, and we'll see you again a bit later on.